Everybody wants to know how to box a southpaw. Everybody who's a southpaw wants to learn how to box the opposite stance. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna give away all the secrets. We're gonna teach you so many great things, man. And luckily, we got a guy right here who can box both stands, Orthodox and Southpaw, in fast-hitting chambers. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna learn a lot. You guys made a very wise decision. So let's not waste no time. Let's get right into it. What up, guys? What's going on? Halftime. No days off. November. Halftime, man. We've been doing this now. This is episode 15. We at that halfway mark. Let me tell you, man, it's been a little harder of a commitment than I thought. I thought it'd be real easy to just turn on the laptop, press the lights, get ready to talk for, an hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours, whatever, every single day, man. But as you guys know, man, I had a few issues, man. I had a car accident 2, 3 days ago where a guy ran into me while I was at a red light. And thank God I'm alive. You know what I'm saying? But that was an issue. Still went live. No days off November. Still went live. And we've been rocking and rolling, man. We got a lot of stuff coming on. I'm working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes. We got the courses coming up. And I'm really excited about Black Friday, which is coming up, because I plan on doing something real dope for everybody. And the people who should keep up with that, I'm putting a link to my newsletter. If you guys don't have the newsletter, let me know if you can actually click that link. For whoever's in here right now, if you're watching this later, you can still get this in my bio. I'm gonna make sure that I put this in my bio at the end of this. But let me know if you could click that link, man. That's the free newsletter. You want that because you're gonna get updated with everything that we're doing. You know what I'm saying? And for Black Friday, I'm super excited about what we're gonna be launching, man. So be on the lookout for that. And we're gonna get into these Q&As. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what everybody's doing. Everybody's talking, man. We got my regular people in here. My man Richard White. Hey, Coach Anthony, what's going on? Mr. Just Because in the house, Coach. My children just got back from the gym. How you doing, man? Yo, Mr. Just Because, man. How's your ribs doing, man? I know you had an issue with your ribs. How you feeling? My man Darian. What's up, Coach? This is Coach Darian from Elite Boxing Fitness in Oviedo, Florida. I love what you do, man. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate when the coaches come in here and the coaches show love to other coaches. That's what it's all about, man. I'm glad that, you appreciate what I'm doing, man, and keep coaching. You know what I'm saying? Christian Brown said the link works. I was able to click it. Awesome. That link, all you got to do is drop your email in there. So go ahead, click that link now if you get a chance. And drop your email. You feel me? Make sure you guys click that MailChimp link. That's for the newsletter. You're going to get daily tips and, stuff like that. And also keep you updated with whatever offers I'm giving. So, for instance, for Black Friday, it's going to be crazy. I mean, what I'm planning for Black Friday, and it's probably going to be a little sooner than Black Friday. I'm letting you guys know right now. I'm not even going to put a CA Power Hour today because I'm so excited about Black Friday that you might as well just wait for that. You feel me? What's up, Coach here from Canada? What's going on, my man? I appreciate you coming in here. Said the link works. Okay, so if the link works, guys, just drop your email in there, man. Drop your email. That's all you need to do is drop your email. Anthony B, hey, Coach, all good. Yeah, everything's good on this side. Thank God, man. I'm good, man. I can't complain. Mr. Just Because said getting well daily. My man, that's good to hear, Mr. Just Because, by the way, for the record. Christian Brown, yo, Coach, thanks for the sparring advice you gave me last week. I sparred a high-level kickboxer and didn't get discouraged. I just removed read my reason why I kept putting in rounds. A little not sure what you said. Maybe you could rewrite that last sentence. I just read my reason why and kept putting in rounds. Trying to figure out what that means, but I'm glad that whatever I told you helped. You feel me? Kofi's Universe. Salute, Coach Anthony. Salute to you, my brother. Jay said, Prime James Tony versus Prime Canelo. Who wins? I got to edge it toward, man, that's a hard one, bro. It's a hard one, man. Pause. It's a hard one. Gonna go with James Tony. James Tony was able to fight at light heavyweight, okay, heavyweight, and was dominant, you know what I'm saying, in light heavyweight and did good at heavyweight. As a middleweight, he was sharp, super fast. Everything Canelo does, James Tony did better, as opposed to throwing big left hooks and maybe feinting. You know what I mean? I think Canelo has fantastic feints, and I think Canelo has, uh, some really good punch placement. But James Tony, man, he did everything just a little bit better, man. Put punches together, was slick. His upper body movement, second to none. I'm gonna roll with James Tony on that one. Christian Brown said, "Remember my reason for why." Remember my reason why for boxing. Okay, cool, man. That's dope, man. Sometimes when we spar, we overthink. That's a lot of problem. That's a problem that a lot of fighters have. A lot of fighters overthink it, and even fighting, overthink fighting, man. I did it as an amateur, you know what I'm saying? You start thinking these are like world title bouts, and you have to remember, man, it's all about experience. This is all about experience. We're just trying to learn, we're just trying to get better. And sparring is the same thing. You're trying to get better. You're working on stuff, you're working on your craft. It releases some of the tension. And once you start to do that, man, sky's the limit. Mr. Just Because, I want to know your opinion of the slip right hand that ended Miss Harper's championship run. I didn't see Miss Harper's championship run, so I can't even answer that question. I want to know your opinion of the slip. What happened in that situation? Be a little bit more clarified because I didn't see it. Championship mindset. Hey, coach, do you know the purses for the Munguia Rosado fight? No idea. Do you? Let me know. Let me know what the purses are if you know. I didn't even look at that, but I could tell you what, it was a great fight. CJ about fitness Patton. Hope I said that right. What advice would you give a late bloomer in boxing? Well, if you start, I mean, when you say late bloomer, do you mean a late bloomer as somebody who's having an issue with the learning curve and you learn late, or somebody who starts late? Be a little bit more clear on that, and I'll answer that question. People get knocked out when they overthink. Absolutely, man. Overthinking is one of the worst things you could do in boxing. You know what I mean? Overthinking is horrible in general in life, man. Sometimes we overthink situations that aren't that complicated and we make them more complicated. I've done it. I've done it in business. I've done it with things I'm trying to learn, and people do it in boxing, and overthinking can be a horrible thing. It's good to think and it's good to want to be thoughtful, but once you start to overdo it, it becomes an issue. Harper jabbed and got caught. I'm gonna have to see it, man. Honestly, I'm gonna have to see it in order to be able to answer this question. To be honest with you, man. Darion Dean, coach, what do I focus on when watching film? Um, it just depends, what the objective of that particular film study is. You know what I'm saying? You focus on everything, but there might be particulars. It might be a situation where you're fighting somebody. You might want to see some of the habits that they have. If you're trying to learn something, you may want to pay attention to everything that they're doing. You know what I mean? I love to watch Floyd Mayweather because when I watch Floyd Mayweather, I see a lot of the defensive things he does, a lot of the way that he sets traps, a lot of the ways that he creates guys to, he creates situations and get guys to come at him, and then he'll slip, and then he'll counter, and then he'll go in, into his defense, and then come right back to his offense. And I look at everything, but it just depends, what the situation is. Every film study is going to be a little different. Some film studies are going to be you're trying to figure out a guy that you're fighting if you get to that level. Another film study may be you're trying to see how a guy sets up shots to the body. You might want to see how a guy fights on the inside. Like for instance, certain fights I want to see somebody who's really good on the inside. So I'll start to think in my head who fought good on the inside. And then that's when I'll go ahead and start looking those guys up. Somebody I might want to see who fought really well from the outside. I might say who fought really well from the outside, and then I'll look them up. Somebody might really be good with the shoulder roll, like a Floyd or James Toney. I might say, let me watch those guys to figure out how they used to use the shoulder roll. Guys really good to the body. I might pull up guys like Canelo. I might pull up guys like Julio Cesar Chavez. I might pull up guys who I know were really good at attacking the body. So you have to know what you're looking for. And then once you can identify that, then it's kind of easier to figure out what you're trying to get out of that particular film. You see what I'm saying? And then sometimes you just want to see two high level fighters fight and you just want to see how they go tit for tat with each other. You know what I mean? And that's another good one. So yeah, you're focusing on everything. Can you give a breakdown on how Plant versus Benavidez would go, Coach? I think it would go very interesting because Caleb Plant is a fantastic boxer. Even though I watched the fight again yesterday, the day before, I was watching the first half. I didn't watch the whole fight, and I can see that he had. I thought he did better the first time I saw it than the second time. But what I will say is this: he has a good jab, good movement. He learned a lot versus Canelo. He's gotten tougher. I'm sure he's gotten tougher out of that fight. That's a fight I think was a very good developmental fight for Caleb Plant. Honestly, I think it did him benefit. I think a lot of times when guys get stopped, it is a detriment. But I think in this particular situation is a benefit. So I think he knows what he can handle. And I think that Benavidez gets hit quite a bit. I thought Kyron Davis was hitting him quite a bit with some really decent shots, frustrating him with the lateral movement. And I just think that Caleb Plant might be able to pull that fight off if he can just handle what Benavidez brings. Now, Benavidez brings extreme pressure. So it's going to be one of those fights. It's going to look similar to Canelo versus Plant, except that Benavidez is going to get hit a lot more than Canelo got hit. And that's what's going to make it interesting. Is Benavidez going to be able to hold the punches that Caleb is going to be landing on him? Because he's going to get hit quite a bit versus Caleb. But we also see that he can handle and he could keep pressing. So that's what makes him interesting. So the fight with him and Caleb Plant, that's the fight I want to see. Honestly, that's a good fight. You said it right. Who starts late with age? I would say just get into boxing, man. To go back to your original question for the late bloomer, I would say just get into it, man, and take it one day at a time. Take it step by step, and don't have any don't have any expectations for anything. I think the number one thing you could do wrong in boxing is set expectations, because when you don't meet the expectations, you seem to get this, people tend to get discouraged. So expectations aren't good. Now, what is good is goals, right? And it's the same thing for like fitness, right? I found this to be true in my fitness journey. When I put too much pressure, too much emphasis on trying to get a certain body, right? Like, so for instance, let's just say like right now, I'm the heaviest I've been in quite a bit. So I'm around 225, 220, 225. Me, I like to be around the 200 area, 190, and I'm really where I want to be at this stage of my life. But 200, 190 to 200 is really my fluctuation, right? Where I feel like I look good. I'm like 225 right now, so I'm not too happy about that. But anyway, if I have these strong expectations, like, well, I'm gonna get this 8-pack abs, and I'm gonna get these biceps, and I'm gonna look like one of these fitness models that I see in magazines on Instagram or whatever, that maybe they're genetically just built better than me, or they are taking enhancements that I don't take, or they don't have injuries, or they're a lot younger, so their natural testosterone is through the roof. They're 18, 19, 20 years old, issues like that. I'm comparing myself to people that I can't get to that level, and then my expectations are too high. So then if I don't reach my expectation, let's just say in 30 days or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, because everybody's impatient when it comes to themselves, then what ends up happening is you get discouraged, and then you say, forget it. And then you fall off the wagon, and then you start over again, right? I've been through this many of times. Same thing with boxing. I'm going to be a world champion. You get into a 25 years old, 26 years old. I'm going to be a world champion, man. I'm going to go pro. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then you come to find out what boxing really is and how difficult it really is and the journey that you have to strive for. And then you start to get discouraged, right? Because you're like, damn, this is harder than I thought. So I think the goal is to have little mini goals like, okay, I'm going to try to box 3 days a week, and then maybe 4 days a week, and then maybe 5 days a week. And I'm going to focus on my jab, and I'm going to master my jab, and I'm going to master stepping and making sure I don't cross my feet. And then I'm going to put the right hand behind it or the left hand if I'm a southpaw, whatever. And I'm going to perfect my hook. You have these little goals, and then it becomes fun. Then next thing you know, you have a goal to one day spar. And then in your sparring, you have goals that you want to attain in the sparring. Next thing you know, you're enjoying the journey. You're enjoying the journey. You're not thinking about if you're going to fight somebody. You're not thinking about if you're going to go pro or amateur or any of that shit. Only thing you're thinking about is improving and getting better and letting everything fall into place. And then once you have those kind of things going, next thing you know, something unexpected might happen. Like your coach might say, "Hey, man, I think you're ready for your first fight," or "Yeah, man, you're a lot better than we thought you would be at this point. So I think we should go ahead and start doing this or whatever." You don't know what the expectation. You don't know what the future holds. All you know is what you could do for the day. So for the day, what you do is you just work on your goals step by step, and then keep working toward them. You feel me? And if you do that, I think you're gonna enjoy boxing because when you come to find out that boxing is far deeper than jab, crosses, and hooks. Can't forget the uppercuts. You know what I'm saying? You kind of find out how beautiful of a sport it is, and you're gonna be happy. It's a win-win. You know what I mean? Just for getting into it. You know what I mean? So my my answer to you is don't set expectations. Just enjoy the journey. Set short-term goals and work toward it. I wish you the best of luck on that. Joshua Tate, what's up, guy? I'm happy to see you back in here. Can you explain the statement styles make fights? Yeah, absolutely. The statement means that you're going to have fighters that are going to fight totally different. And when they fight totally different, you're going to get different results, you know. And just because you have a good record or if you beat the person that person lost to doesn't necessarily mean that person's going to beat you or whatever. You know what I mean? So, for instance, I might beat you in a match, but then you might beat a guy who beat me in a match, right? So you see how that triangle works? Just because you lost to him doesn't mean that I'm gonna beat him or lose to him or whatever whatever that is. I get confused saying what I'm saying. But to make a long story short, styles make fights because uh Billy Briscoe pulled up a great analogy the other night that when he was on here, he basically brought up Vernon Forrest. If you don't know who Vernon Forrest was, he was a fantastic junior middleweight. I actually had the opportunity to train around him in Florida at one point, and he beat Sugar Shane Mosley, but then he fought Mayorga. Mayorga beat him twice, and then Sugar Shane Mosley beat Mayorga. So you see how that worked? You know what I'm saying? And Mayorga was not skillful by any means. He was just a wild, strong, rugged guy. And Vernon Forrest was very technical, very good boxer. And he couldn't deal with that style. So there you go. That's a style situation where the style makes the fight. And then he was able to beat Sugar Shane Mosley, who was a fantastic lightweight who moved up to welterweight and eventually fought Vernon Forrest, I believe, at junior welterweight. I mean, junior middleweight. But when he fought Mayorga, he was able to beat Mayorga, even though Mayorga beat Forrest and Forrest beat him. So that's a perfect example of styles make fights. Different people, they just don't mesh well. You know what I mean? Certain styles just don't mesh. Some guys don't know how to deal with certain styles. You know what I mean? You have to be able to deal with everything if you want to be considered the best. But in boxing, it doesn't work that way, man. A lot of times, certain styles just don't match up. You know what I mean? You'll see guys say it, man, on the come up for a lot of these young fighters coming up, like, yo, listen, stay away from that guy. Not good matchup. Not a good style for you. Even if you're overall a better boxer than the guy, that particular guy might be able to beat you. And that's really what it comes down to is styles make fights. Let me go ahead and try to read some of these questions down here because I know I move slow. Just Just trying to catch up with some of these questions, guys, and then I'm gonna come right back. Anthony B, is it possible to train to have the ability to make adjustments, or is it just a natural thing and experience? I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's definitely a natural thing and experience. I don't think that you can make the training to make an adjustment for a particular fight, but I think that you can train different situations in your training. So maybe in our training, we come up with different situations that might happen in a fight. And in these situations, we make the adjustments, in the training. And then what happens is in the fights, you're able to make the adjustments. One great way to do this is to spar a lot of different types of people, right? So, for instance, if we're sparring, I might have you spar a Southpaw. I might have you spar an aggressive guy. I might have you spar a guy who's really defensive and really slick and technical. I might have you spar. So now you're sparring all these different types in the gym. And then come fight night, if any of these particulars happen, you'll be able to reference it to one of your sparring partners. You see what I'm saying? So I could be like, yo, man, he's starting to get defensive. We know how to attack that, man. Just like in the gym when you spar with so and so. And then, oh, okay, and that might click. You see what I'm trying to say? So different kinds of work. And when we say work, we mean sparring. All right. That's boxing terminology for my beginners in here. Different kind of work is what is going to get you prepared for adjustments in fights, different situations. That's why high level amateurs, guys who have traveled the world and have just fought a lot of different styles, they typically end up being the world class professionals. Like guys like Floyd Mayweather had an extensive amateur background where he fought different styles. Lomachenko, same thing. Alexander Usyk, same thing. These type of guys, when they go into the pros, they've already seen so many styles as an amateur that when they have to make these adjustments, they're able to make it. And that's the truth. So, make a long story short, you're training for it indirectly. You see what I'm saying? Like indirectly, we're training for adjustments by giving you different looks. And then on the mitts, I might give you different looks. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, listen, we're going to work on this. We're going to work on this. If a guy ever does this, and that's me teaching you these situations. And then in sparring, when it happens, you're able to put it into practice, which is sparring is basically simulation of a fight, right? And then from there, we bring it to the fight. You fight like you train. So that's really that. KC Boxing, what's up, champ? Coach, can you talk about advice on first sparring session and overcoming the fear of getting hit? Yeah, absolutely, man. It's part of boxing. You're gonna have fear. That's why it's always good to have the right sparring for your first sparring. And it's always good to go through certain drills, right? Certain drills like I used to take my beginners and we'll do punch catch drills. Like somebody will throw a jab, you'll catch the jab. Somebody throw a hook, you catch the hook. Someone throws a cross, you block the cross. You block the body, you block the body, right? So now I'm comfortable with feeling the impact, impact. You know what I'm saying? And once you get comfortable with the impact, then maybe we'll upgrade it to, body sparring or something like that, where everything's from the chest down. And then we just do some stuff like that. And then now you're getting used to feeling that impact here, you know what I mean? And in the arms and blocking with your gloves. And from there, then I usually take guys and put them in the ring to spar. And I have my own system of how I like to do it. So a lot of the times I'll try my best to bring my beginners in there and spar with guys who've been boxing for a long time. So then the guy who's been boxing for a long time doesn't hurt him. And as he isn't hurting him, he's working his defense, he's slipping and sliding, right? And then he's throwing an occasional shot. And you, as the beginner, you're learning how to take shots and you're learning how to slip shots, and you're building your confidence. And then from there, as you build some confidence and some ring time, then I typically try to find a guy on your level, and then I'll control the sparring still. I might say, listen, we're only going to do jabs today. We're only going to do this today. That's how I do things. Other trainers might do it differently. Other trainers might just throw you in there. If you're in a situation where you're just getting thrown in there, you just have to hope that your coach is going to prevent you from getting hurt. So the number one rule in boxing is what? Give you guys a second to say it. What's the number one rule in boxing? Let me see if you guys are paying attention to me right now. Somebody type it in the chat. The number one rule in boxing, guys. I'm waiting for somebody to type it. I'm give you guys 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. None of y'all wrote the number one rule in boxing quick enough. The number one rule in boxing is protect yourself at all times. You know what I'm saying? Protect yourself at all times. Bill Reed said, protect yourself. Don't forget, at all times, right? At all times. So even though we're trusting our coaches to protect us, our job is to protect ourselves at all times. We have to go in there. That's why keeping your hands up is so important, especially in the beginning stages. I can't stress to you guys enough the importance of that. You have to keep your hands up in the beginning stages. We can't try to Philly shell. We can't try to drop our hands. We're not there yet. That's black belt level stuff. You see what I'm trying to say? We're here now. Our hands are up. We're protecting ourselves. We're throwing our punches. We're bringing our hands back. We're working the basics. And have fun, man. Have fun. Having fun is such an important part of this. If you're not having fun, if you're having all this anxiety before your spars, you're not going to get nowhere in the sport. You have to learn to relax. You need to learn to have fun. And that's why it's good to go in there with people that you have more experience than, or that you are actually the inexperienced guy, or you're the more experienced guy, because in these situations you get to do it without it being so stressful. Like if I'm boxing somebody who I know isn't going to try to hurt me but is light years ahead of me, it's fun because I'm trying to hit them, I'm trying to figure them out. I know I can't hurt them yet. And then if I'm boxing somebody who I'm way better than and I'm not trying to hurt them, then it's fun too because I get to work on the stuff that I've been trying to work on. It's a problem though when you put a guy in there with a guy who's actually much better than you and then he tries to hurt you. Those are the type of guys I don't like to deal with. Those are the bullies of the gym. You see what I'm saying? Those are the guys that I'll be like, I'll watch something like that and them dudes are going to be in trouble with me because I'm going to make sure I find somebody who could whoop them. You see what I'm saying? So that's how that goes. But I probably went a little bit all over the place, but first sparring session is go in there, have fun, listen to your coach. I hope you're doing this with a coach. Listen to your coach, trust your coach, and just have fun, man. It's not a fight. Remember that. It's not a fight. It's just a spar. All right. So just enjoy yourself and then be ready for the next spar. Nas Castro, what up, CA? What up, champ? How you doing? Jorge on the check in North Jersey in the building. What's going on, my brother? Try to go ahead and roll down here and keep up with some of these guys. Kate from Cali, coach, what do you think are some of the reasons why Shakur Stevenson's opponent's landed punch percentage is so low? I mean, he has a really good way of maintaining distance. He's another guy that I talked about, a super experienced guy. The competition level that he has fought as a professional isn't up to the competition level that he's used to. He's fought the best of the best as an amateur. He's been around, and he's an exceptionally talented kid. He has laser beam focus. He has great speed, good reflexes, respectable power. So a guy like that is going to be extremely difficult because a guy like him, he stays sharp or whatever. And then if he's not in there with guys on his caliber, he's always going to be hard to hit. He's always going to look like he's impossible to beat. So in order for Shakur Stevenson to get touched up a little bit more, he's going to have to fight better competition. And he's eventually going to get there. But as of right now, he hasn't stepped up to not that he hasn't stepped up, he hasn't fought the level of competition worthy of touching him up a little bit more. And that's really what it comes down to. All right, let me try to get to some more of these questions, guys. And just just how I told you guys before, let me put it in the chat now that the chat is starting to pick up. Please sign into the free newsletter. I just put the link in there, guys. I got something major coming for Black Friday. I'm not even gonna put a CA Power Hour up there today because I'm not even gonna try to give you guys a discount on my courses because what I got coming for Black Friday is gonna be unbelievable. It's actually coming before Black Friday for people who sign up to my email list. So I need all of you guys to go in there, drop your email, and the email list isn't just going to give you offers on Black Friday. It's going to be daily emails giving you pointers and different advice and stuff like that. Is absolutely free for you to get the email list. You know what I mean? So sign up to the email list, guys. I just threw the link in there. It takes 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give y'all a second to go ahead and just go ahead, click on that, put your email in there, guys. You guys already know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to provide the most value for everybody who supports the channel. I want to help teach everybody on the internet. This gives me the opportunity to teach from one place. You know what I mean? You can teach through learning and Q&As like this. You can learn from the instructionals that I'm teaching, implementing it in your training. Doesn't matter if you're, training in LA Fitness or whatever. If you're a student and you're able to implement these things, I can't tell you how many people email me on a day-to-day basis saying, thank you, man. Thank you. I've improved. You have to be willing to put in the work, though. Remember that. You can learn whatever you want. If you don't put in the work, forget about it. If you're not honest with yourself, forget about it. So if you're doing this without a coach, and let's just say you learn how to throw, I don't know, a 1, 2, 3, and then you angle off and then you whip a hook to the body, come back upstairs or whatever, but you're doing it all with poor form and you're not being honest with yourself on the form, right? Then of course you're not going to get better. You're going to look like one of these sloppy guys who just learned a bunch of moves and never mastered it, right? So it's very important to drill. Very important to work the same the nuances of boxing on a day-to-day basis. So everything that I teach in these courses can be applied as long as you're drilling it and working it day in and day out. And I got something special coming on Black Friday, not just as far as percentage on deals go, something new that we've been working on behind the scenes. So please, guys, get that newsletter. And let me see right here, my man with the super chat. What's going on, Captain? What's the best way to beat a great pressure fighter if he's out dodging you? What adjustment do you have to make? So one way to beat a great pressure fighter, I don't know about the out dodging you part. I don't know if you mean moving his head on the way on the inside to go ahead and start working in there or whatever, but you got to have a good jab. That's the first thing. Your jab has to be on point, because once he gets past that jab, right? Once he gets inside and he's in there, now you're going to have to deal with him close quarters, right? So you're going to have one or two things, a good inside game as well, okay? Or you're going to have to tie him up, you see what I'm saying, and hope that you can hold on to him until the referee says break. You feel me? So these are very important things you need to know. But if you have a good jab, bop, bop, you know what I'm saying? A good jab, bop, bop, and you put in some good right hands behind the jab, and some good hooks behind the right hand, you can make that guy who's putting pressure have to deal with your jab, right? He has to deal with those punches. He has to deal with those punches. So having a good jab is key. That's the first step. Bop, bop, bop. The next step is you have to be comfortable on the inside, right? For at least a moment. So don't, as soon as he gets close to you with that pressure, you start to panic and you're trying to move and you're trying to get back to the center of the ring as soon as possible, because when you panic that way, you're using a lot of energy. You're wasting a lot of energy. You're doing unnecessary things. And as you're doing all this extra movement, he's just breaking you down. Bop, sitting you with a body shot. Bop, sitting you with a body shot. Bop, 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 putting a little combination together. So you can't overuse your footwork. You have to be okay. That's why I talk about in the beginner drills is about being comfortable, feeling the impact. Get comfortable. You know what I mean? Get comfortable with that. Don't panic in these situations. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're fighting a guy with a hell of a punch and you block it and you're like, whoa, that rattled me a little bit, I'm sure you're going to say to yourself, I don't want to feel that again. So in those situations, you might want to tie him up, walk him back to the center of the ring. Hopefully there's a ref, says break, and then you can get back to your jab. Bop, bop, bop. You know what I'm saying? Back to stepping around, using lateral movement. A lot of time, guys think lateral movement means moving all crazy. Sometimes it's as simple as a step. Bop, bop, as you're jabbing. Step, bop, pop, boom, and then drawing the right hand, turning again. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but you have to be able to do both. You know what I mean? I got courses coming out real soon on this, by the way, too, man. So get the newsletter, sign up to the newsletter, Okay, I'm going to put that link in there again. Sign up to the newsletter so you can go ahead and keep up with those courses, because I got courses that me and Eddie did recently, and we're just doing the back end stuff now. And I need you guys to pull up so you guys could, you'll be able to learn a lot of this stuff where I can actually show you. I can't show you as I'm sitting in a chair, but I'm just trying to give you the idea. Joshua Tate, thank you, my brother. I've just signed up, Coach. Thank you, Nas. I appreciate that, man. You're going to get a lot of good information for free on there. And of course, offers that I might not be giving publicly is for the people who join the community. You know what I mean? Nick and Andrew Bush, good to see you, Coach. When you coming through Texas, man, let me tell you, man, I was thinking about moving to Texas. Texas looks very, very intriguing right now, man. So, don't be surprised. But I've been to Texas, Dallas. Tevin Farmer fought, defended the world title in Dallas. We came out successful in that fight. I forgot who he fought though. But I've been to Dallas. It was dope. That's the only part of Texas I've ever been though. I've never been to Houston. Never been nowhere else. Have any program for Southpaw Philly Shell? Well, I have the Philly Shell system on my website, and it's not for Southpaws. It's mirrored in Southpaw. So, like all my courses, the way I do them is I drop all the techniques. I teach everything, right? And then we flip them Southpaw for all my Southpaws. So you're going to be able to see everything from the Southpaw stance the same way you see it for here. I have how to box the opposite stance. That's the course you're looking for, because see, when Southpaws ask me, do you have anything for Southpaws? You have to be more specific, right? Because when you say this, like teaching a Southpaw is no different than teaching an Orthodox fighter, except I'm teaching you to do everything with your right hand in front. So all my courses are Southpaw friendly, because everything that I teach you like this, we mirror it. So now it's like this, okay? What Southpaws are really asking me is, do you have something on how to box the opposite stance? And that's how to box the opposite stance, Southpaw versus Orthodox. That's this particular course right here. Everybody wants to know how to box a Southpaw. Everybody who's a Southpaw wants to learn how to box the opposite stance. We're going to get into it. We're going to give away all the secrets. Right? So I don't got to play the whole commercial because I played it a lot, and I probably play it again at the end. But how to box the opposite stance is what you're looking for. So, you're in a Philly shell and a right hand, and if I'm boxing a Southpaw and a Southpaw throws a right hook at me, I'm going to shoulder roll it the same way I would if a Orthodox fighter would throw a straight right hand at me. I'm going to shoulder roll it. Of course, I might put this hand here for added protection and stuff like that. And we touch on all of that on how to box the opposite stance. So how to box the opposite stance is what you're looking for. So to answer your question, yes, all my courses are geared for Southpaw and Orthodox. We flipped and mirrored everything. So anything you get on the website as a Southpaw, you're going to be able to learn from. But if you're trying to ask me how to box the opposite stance, in my how to box the opposite stance course, we touch on if you're using the Philly shell and if you want to use it against the opposite stance. All right. So I hope that helps you with that. Ray Rich said, just signed up. I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate you. I already got email link to the site. Will I get the newsletter, or do I have to put my email on the link again? You should be already added if you already got something off the site. But drop your email in there again just in case and see what it says. I'm not 100% sure. You should be good though if you already did. This is for people who never given their email to me. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to get the newsletters now. They'll be coming in. You know what I mean? There one style of boxing that can beat all styles, or the best style. How should a fighter go about picking a style? Should a beginner boxer learn multiple styles? How to what style is best? Okay, well, I think every fighter has natural tendencies, natural instincts, natural inclinations, whatever word you want to use, right? Everybody has their own natural thing that they do. And usually is a trainer that's able to spot that, usually an educated eye is what'll help you guide you to that more often, because I can't tell you how many kids I've met that are like, I'm a slugger, or I feel comfortable with my left hand low, or this or that and the other. And what happens is they really don't know what the hell they are that they want. They are. They don't know what they are. They're just going on what they like based off what they see other people do. For instance, I used to love Felix Trinidad, right? Felix Trinidad used to fight a little funny looking, and he used to come with the big hook. And since, I was, I am Puerto Rican, and he was the Puerto Rican representative at the time, I used to want to fight like Trinidad. I used to try to spar like Trinidad. I used to try to do it. I used to get my ass whooped trying that, you know? I ended up being better fighting a little slicker behind the shoulder and fighting with my hands up like a winky right. That was natural to me. I was a mixture of this and this. Now, that was what was natural for me. You have other guys who are natural, at just being aggressive, and it's just their natural thing or whatever. So it'll take an educated eye to really give you that answer. You know what I mean? So then they could kind of work with it. But there is no one style that's better than the other to answer your question. I think it's one of those situations where you have to really master what you do. I mean, if you go throughout history, there's going to be hundreds of world champions, and all the world champions fight differently. Winky Wright won a world title fighting like this. Oscar De La Hoya won his world titles fighting how he fought. Floyd Mayweather won his world titles being super slick. You know what I mean? But not everybody could be Floyd Mayweather. Not everybody could be Oscar De La Hoya. Not everybody could be Winky Wright. Mike Tyson was the best at what he did for what he did. But Tyson Fury's the best at what he does for what he does. And then you got guys, you know what I mean? And Deontay Wilder. Imagine Deontay Wilder trying to fight like Tyson Fury or something. Deontay Wilder, even though he lost recently, I mean, he was knocking everybody out 2 years ago. You know what I mean? So you just have to find what works for you. And that's going to come with time. So the key is to learn the fundamentals properly. And if you don't know the fundamentals, I got Build You from the Ground Up. The course on my site right now where it's teaching you the first part is going to be a series. So there's going to be multiple Build You from the Ground Up, just so you guys know. I got 2.0 coming already. I already did 1.0, 2.0 is coming out. But for the most part, you want to learn the fundamentals properly and then let your naturalness come out through experience and time over the years of training in reality. Not months, not days, years. But you want to work on your fundamentals. You know what I mean? Your fundamentals have to be intact. Your jab has to be sharp. Your cross, your hook, your uppercuts, your defense have to be tight. All these things matter. And then you could kind of play with it. But you have to have a solid foundation in order to get started. Why is the overhand right usually preferred over the right hook? Honestly, man, that's a good question, but I got the answer. That's why you guys come to Coach Anthony Boxing, right? For the answers. For one, if I throw a right hook, okay, it just depends where the shot is going, right? But we're gonna assume that you're talking about the head right now, right? So I'm in my boxing stance. I throw a jab. You're standing in front of me. I'm throwing a right hook. The reason why a lot of the old trainers didn't like that, because guys will fall in love with throwing this hook. And in reality, you probably should be throwing a straight right hand in these situations. So if I'm here, jab, cross, my straight right hand will get to my target, where a lot of the times the hook will fall short. That's one reason why guys didn't even like teaching the right hook. Okay. The right hook is really good to the head if you're close. Okay. Now, to the body, the right hook is fantastic if you're trying to cut a guy off, right? So if a guy sliding to his left, bang, you cut him off with a right hook to the body. You could turn the knuckles over. You could throw it like this. Depends, okay, on the situation. Now, the reason why we like the overhand better, because to the head, if I'm trying to throw that right hook, the only time I'm going to throw a right hook to the head is if I'm close or mid-range, right? Bang, I'm going to just come around the guard. And if his hands are like this also, okay, if his hands are like this, then I'll come around the side with the overhand. With the right hook. But the overhand, if a guy's sliding to his left, I'll actually loop it, bring it over. Now, notice I get more range on the overhand right. That's for one, all right? You're getting more because you're opening up this arm more than a right hook, which is going to be 90, right? This is going to be more like a straight shot with an arc in the elbow. So it's a much wider punch, which I can throw from further than a right hook. Also, it can catch a guy as he's sliding to his left. Boom, he could walk right into it. Okay, so that's another reason why we like the overhand right. Or if a guy's taller, if I jab the body and then come upstairs, I can reach up with that shot much better than a right hook, which or a right hook is going to be here, right? Just like a left hook is here, right? Overhand is coming up as I drop my head over my lead leg. Okay, I got a video on how to throw the overhand right. So it really is about situations more so than a preference. Because if I'm in close, I'm not throwing an overhand right on the inside. You see what I'm trying to say? I'm not throwing it overhand right from right here. From right here, I'm shooting right hooks. I'm shooting uppercuts. Left hooks, I'm shooting uppercuts. From mid-range, I'm probably throwing straight right hands, possibly a right hook if I feel that I could chop it around. A good person to watch throwing that right hook was Floyd Mayweather, I believe, when he fought was it Victor Ortiz that he kept shooting that right hook around the side? Might have been Victor Ortiz. I might have to do my homework. Don't quote me on that. But it just depends on where I'm at. You know, I might come around the side, or if you're going a little bit this way, if you're a little bit taller, I might go Okay, so it's really not a preference. It's about situations and what's the better punch to throw. I would say teachers prefer to teach the straight right hand over the right hook in the beginning stages because in the beginning, all the young guys who start boxing want to throw hooks. Okay, they want to throw these power shots. And then what ends up happening, they fall in love with these and they never develop the straight shots, right? They don't develop a jab. They don't develop a nice straight right hand. They think everything is hooks. And when you're throwing hooks, you're wide, you're open, you're able to get hit. So a lot of old time trainers used to restrain from teaching the right hook, the rear hook, until a guy understood. And then once a guy understood and he became like seasoned, then they'll start to implement the right hooks and when to throw them or whatever. But in the beginning stages, I've done it where I see a kid, he's throwing right hooks. I'll be like, no, leave the right hook alone. Throw it straight. And the only reason I'm saying that is because they're developing a bad habit of wanting to loop everything. And I want my guys to be pinpoint down the pipe. And then we go ahead and we add the hooks, the uppercuts, and the overhands as the kid understands the science. So it's about learning the science, learning the punch selection for the right situations. So, yeah, the overhand right is not that it's preferred, it's situational. Which situation is better to throw each punch? I hope I answered that question. Oscar, what's going on, champ? You're a dope person and a great coach. Thanks for the gems, man. I appreciate you, man, for the kind words, man. You know, I appreciate every single person who's in here, guys. That's why I'm constantly coming on here, no days off November. You know what I mean? Just trying to help. And I'm having fun with this, man. I can't lie. I'm having fun. Kay from Cali, I recently purchased How to Box the Opposite Stance. The whole course is dope. I especially like the heavy bag drills. It's the shit, y'all. No cap. Kay from Cali, man, I appreciate you coming in here with the testimonial, man. That's dope, man. I really appreciate you, co-signing what I'm selling because we put a lot of effort into the courses, guys, and my goal is for everybody to be able to get it, right? You know what I'm saying? But it takes time, it takes money, it takes energy, it took experience, it took years and years and years of developing these skill sets to be able to teach it properly. There's a lot of guys out here teaching boxing, guys. You can go on the internet right now and write how to box, and hundreds of people got an opinion. You know what I'm saying? You go on Instagram right now, TikTok, and just pull up something. You got, Well, who are you learning from? You know what I'm saying? What's the product of their work? Have they ever taken a kid with zero experience and built them to national champions? I have. Have they ever worked with world champions? I have. Have they ever done any of these things? I have. You see what I'm saying? So, it's about learning from who is going to teach you, who's going to sit down, break it down, explain it to you 10 different ways just to make sure you get it, to make sure you understand it. Who can answer the questions, You ask a coach, hey, man, what should I do to get away from this? And the coach is going to say, just move or move your head or block. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do. I'm going to tell you exactly what your options are because there's more than one. Then I'm going to tell you the truth and say, listen, you can still get caught if this happens, if that happens. We're going to give it to you. We're going to fully explain it to you. We're not just going to say, move your head. Yeah, moving your head can mean a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? It can mean this. It can mean this. What does that mean? We need to get specific. And that always been my goal as a teacher. And I've been fortunate to learn from teachers who teach exactly how I teach. I learn from them. I grab the gems. I pass it on. I teach it to you guys. Eventually, you guys are going to learn it really well. And you'll be passing it on to somebody. And that's how life works, man. Each one teach one. You feel me? But you got to make sure you're learning this stuff correctly the first time, because then you go ahead and you learn this BS. And then you got to come back. And then you're like, but hold on, that don't make sense. And by the time you get to me, I got to fix all the mistakes. Let's save the issues. Let's save it, and let's just get right to the good stuff right off the rip. I stand firmly behind everything that I sell. So thank you again, man. I appreciate that. Is there a way to train defense if you are not sparring besides visualization? Is there a way to train defense if you are not sparring besides visualization? I'm gonna have to say no. You have to visualize. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what else you gonna do? I mean, we have to really think about this, champ. What else we gonna do? If there's not a person who is in front of you, oh, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. Your trainer could hold mitts for you. Your trainer could hold floats for you and put you in these situations, but that's it. I'm assuming that you're by yourself, right? So if you're by yourself, no, you need to visualize. You need to use that mirror. If I'm working the shoulder roll, right? Boom, I'm making sure this is here. All right. If I'm working the hook, boom, I'm making sure this is here. If I'm catching something up the center, boom, I'm making sure this is here. If I'm using the catchment, I'm making sure this is here. If I'm riding through when I block a hook, I'm making sure I'm here. If I'm tilting to the hook, I'm making sure I'm here. But I have to visualize these things happening. And my hands are up and the right hand comes at me, I'm blocking it. I'm slipping it. Hook comes, I'm rolling it. Right? I'm countering. Off the counter, I'm either dropping down or I'm sliding back over. I'm ripping something. I have to visualize these things in order for it to become muscle memory. Now, if I have a trainer in front of me saying, catch the jab, bang, catch the hook, bang, catch the right hand, bang, catch the shoulder, bang, block the body, bang, block the body, bang, whatever, or if my hands are up, bang, whatever, or step back, boom, or you know what I'm saying? Whatever, stay in your rhythm, move your head. Easy when you got a trainer doing it. But if you don't have a trainer and you don't have sparring, you got to visualize. And the best way to visualize is through your experience. So, how am I going to gain experience? You got to go through the motions, right? So, you need a trainer who's going to teach you to catch, who's going to do these things with you. Then you need to have some sparring experience to be like, I've been in this situation before. I've been in that situation before. If you've never been in these situations, then you can only go based off the experience that you got from your trainer. So boxing can be learned on your own, right? To a certain point. So for instance, when you guys get these courses from me, right? Or if you guys watch my YouTube videos, I'm assuming you guys watch my YouTube videos or you purchase a course or whatever. That does not mean that you're going to be a boxer by the end of that course. And it does not mean by watching all my YouTube videos, you're going to be a boxer. You still need to go to the gym. You still need to learn the fundamentals and have somebody correcting you in real life. You still need to spar. You still need to run the drills. What these courses do is give you something to as a reference. I remember I used to train with trainers and stuff or whatever, and then I have more questions, and then I have to call somebody or whatever, or you know what I'm saying? And then they would answer these questions for me. The courses are the answers to the questions of a lot of the things that you're thinking already. I've already made videos on it through my experience of teaching guys for over a decade, being a boxer myself for over a decade. You know what I'm saying? So I put all these things together already because I know what you're thinking already. I've had these questions 1,000 times. You feel what I'm saying? So, in order for you to be good at visualization, you need experience. You have to gain some experience, champ. So, you can't just do this on your own with no experience and expect to execute it. That's just not how boxing works. If that was the case, nobody would spar. Everybody would just visualize and then they would go win world titles. The reason why boxing is hard isn't necessarily the fight. It's the training leading up to the fight. It's the sparring matches leading up to the fight. It's those amateur fights. It's those spars that lead up to the amateurs. You know what I'm saying? It's knowing, damn, I got to spar this guy today. Oh my God, man, I hate sparring this guy, man. Every time I spar him, man, my freaking jaw hurt the next day. My ribs hurt the next. See what I'm saying? That's just the training. We didn't even get to the fight yet. You know what I'm saying? So you have to understand boxing's a process that takes years and years of consistency to develop. Not only do you need to be training boxing for years, you need to be consistently training boxing for years. Because you could be a boxer for 10 years or 5, 6 years, and the moment you take 3 years off and you come back, you're not the same boxer. And you're like, damn, what happened? Oh, you weren't consistent with your training. Don't matter how much you did it before. You ain't got this forever. If you don't use it, you lose it. So, boxing is about consistency, it's about experience in real situations. So, I know I went on and on. A lot of these questions, I start going far out, but I have to give it to you real because if you start thinking that you could just do this without actually sparring, without actually putting this into play, you're going to get seriously hurt because if I tell you, nah, man, you could just train defense, watch my course, hit the bag, and you'll be fine. Then you go out there and you get knocked the hell out. Then you're back on the live. Coach Anthony, I got knocked the hell out. You told me. It's not how the game go. I'm not here to bullshit you. You see what I'm saying? So you have to put this into play. Peter Nieves, what's good, cuz? Big shout out to my cousin. For y'all who don't know, professional boxing legend Peter Nieves. What's good, cuz? Fight week again. The fans are on a winning streak, man. I try to tell you. It's been dope. Boxing's been dope lately, man. Shout out from Dubai. Big shout out to you, man. Big shout out to you. Pop Off Gaming, man. Get on the Xbox and stop running Fight Night. Big shout out to Pop Off Gaming, man. I got to give a shout out to Pop Off Gaming. For those of you who don't know, I love playing Fight Night. I've been playing Fight Night Champion recently. Back in the days, Fight Night Round 3, I was the best in the world, despite what anybody might tell you. I was the best in the world at Fight Night Round 3. And then Fight Night Champion, I'm not as good as I used to be, but I still get down. You know what I'm saying? I still put in work. Big shout out to all my brothers at Pop Off Gaming, man. Those are real good people. We play on Xbox. If anybody want to put their gamer tag down, put it down there, and we'll see where your boxing skills is at. That's the one way you could spar with me without getting hit. Get on that Fight Night Champion. Captain, what's good? Please move to DC and open a gym. Coach, yo, you know what, man? DC got some gyms, though. DC got some work. You guys don't need me, man. You guys got a bunch of work down there, man. How many amateur bouts should I get under my belt before I try out for the Olympics? What's going on, Christian? Really doesn't matter how many bouts you have. Going to the Olympics is about going through a process of, competing and then, fighting in the Olympic trials. And then if you win the Olympic trials, then you go ahead and you go to other tournaments and then eventually you get selected on the Olympic team. So it's not about how many bouts you have. You're going to have to be an open class amateur, of course. So you're going to need at least 10 bouts at bare minimum. Or be open class early, you know what I'm saying? And then you're going to have to fight certain tournaments and you're going to have to fight certain things and you're going to have to fight in the trials. And then that's how you go to the Olympics. So it's not about how many fights. It's about winning certain tournaments and winning the trials. And then that's how you go ahead and you go to the Olympics. Once you win the trials, then you got to go and you got to compete around the world. And it's a process, but it's about winning these tournaments. So the sooner you get started, the better. Trying to read some of these comments, man. So give me a second, guys. Just trying to read some of these things. You guys got a nice little chat going in here. So yeah, guys. Anyway, while I was trying to do that, man, guys, make sure you guys sign up to the newsletter. Okay, I'm putting that link in there again. If you have not signed up to the newsletter, please sign up to the newsletter, man. And I'm going to cap this at an hour today. You already know the vibes, man. I want to say thank you for everybody who has pulled up. You guys been showing love. We're halfway through No Days November, man. Episode 15 this week. I'm going to try to get somebody on here, somebody different. Try to bring at least one new person a week on here for you guys to chop it up with. And that's it, man. What's up with the Network Video Coach? It's coming. It's definitely coming, guys. And please sign up to the newsletter. And please be on the lookout for Black Friday, man. The sales are going to start soon. It might start tomorrow. I'm going to be honest. I'm so excited to let these sales out because I know for a fact once you guys see what I got going on, everybody's going to have the courses. And then we can have these lives and talk about the courses and your training and your experience. And we got a lot of stuff going on, man. I want to say thank you, everybody who pulled up. And that's about it for today, man. This is Build You From the Ground Up. Probably one of the most important courses on my website at the moment. And it's because I'm going to teach you step by step the fundamentals of boxing. See, you want to make sure you have a good foundation. You have good fundamentals. It's no different than building a house, right? You want to have a solid foundation so you can build on top of it. And that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to teach you the same way that I've taught hundreds of people throughout the years from owning a gym. I've also had the opportunity to work with numerous world-level professional fighters, amateur fighters at the Olympic level, and they all had one thing in common, and that's good fundamentals. Okay, you have to have a solid foundation if you want to go ahead and building on top of this, all right? But this is just a really good starting point. So for all my beginners out there, intermediate and advanced boxers, let's go ahead and let's get started. You already know. Thank you, everybody, for the love and support. See y'all tomorrow.